entertaining videos. Legs and rock fire, you know they kicking it for shows. So sit back and enjoy yourself and like the video.
You know those moments when the calendar just throws you a bit of a curveball?
Oh, definitely.
Well, today, Sunday, April 20th, 2025, it's kind of one of those days. It's Easter Sunday, which is, huge for Christians everywhere.
Your cornerstone, yeah.
But it also happens to be 420, let's just say, more unofficial international day for cannabis fans.
Right.
And what makes it really stand out is how rare this is. We've actually got some great material here from USA Today, the Mississippi Clarion Ledger, NBC News, to really dig into this whole convergence.
It is pretty uncommon, isn't it? Our sources, they point out the last time this happened, Easter and 420 on the same day, was back in 2014.
2014, wow.
Yeah, and before that, 2003. And if you miss it this year, you're waiting quite a while.
How long?
The research says 2087.
2087. Okay, so this is definitely worth diving into then. Understanding, the history of both, their significance, and how this unusual overlap is playing out.
Absolutely. Where should we start? Easter.
Yeah, let's start with Easter. So for most Christians, Catholics, Protestants, most Orthodox traditions too, Easter 2025 is today, April 20th. It's that central belief, right? Celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ 3 days after the crucifixion on Good Friday.
Mm-hmm. It's fundamentally about hope, rebirth, new beginnings. That's the core.
Exactly.
And it's interesting, something the Clarion Ledger notes, the Eastern Orthodox Church uses the Julian calendar.
Ah, right.
So their Easter is actually on a different date this year. They won't sync up with the Gregorian calendar for Easter Sunday again until 2028.
That really shows how different traditions track time, doesn't it?
It really does.
And the way the Gregorian date is set, it's actually pretty fascinating. It's the Sunday after the first full moon that occurs on or after the spring equinox.
So it's tied to the moon, the seasons.
Yeah, lunar cycles, the Earth's tilt. It's pretty complex for such a significant religious date.
It truly is. Okay, so now for a pretty sharp pivot.
Right. Let's talk 420.
Yeah, 420. As USA Today and others mentioned, it's this widely known, though definitely unofficial, marijuana holiday. Celebrated, well, all over the world now.
But unlike Easter's very clear, documented history, the origins of 420 are, well, a bit hazier, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely more hazy. Lots of myths out there.
Yeah, our sources lay out a few common theories. There's one about 420 being like a police radio code for marijuana stuff.
Mm-hmm. Heard that one?
Then there's the Bob Dylan connection, his song Rainy Day Women, hashtag 12 and 35, because, 12 times 35 is 420.
Right, and the line, everybody must get stoned.
Exactly.
But while those are, fun theories, the story that seems to have the most weight, the one NBC News and USA Today focus on, it points to California in the 70s. High school kids.
The Waldos, right? This group called the Waldos.
That's the one. They apparently use 420 as their own private code.
Yeah, the story goes, this was back in 1971, Santa Fe High School. These friends heard about, an abandoned cannabis patch somewhere nearby.
Right, a secret stash out in the woods.
So they'd planned to meet up after school activities at 4:20 p.m. by the statue of Louis Pasteur at their school. They'd, maybe smoke a bit, then go searching.
And did they find it?
Apparently not. The legendary patch remained, well, legendary. Never found.
But the term found its way out. What's really interesting is how this little inside code, 420, got so big. PBS and our sources confirm this link. The Waldos had a connection to the Grateful Dead.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, one of the Waldos' older brothers managed a Dead side band, and another Waldo's dad handled real estate for the band. So they knew bassist Phil Lesh. They hung around the band's scene.
Ah, okay. So they're hanging out, using the term.
Exactly. And it just started to spread through that whole Grateful Dead network, sort of organically.
And then, as NBC News points out, the 90s happened. There was this flyer going around at a Dead show.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
It basically said, meet at 420 on 420. And that seems to be what really helped lock in April 20th as the date.
It really solidified it as the day. Quite a journey from a high school code word to an international thing.
It really is. Shows how culture bubbles up sometimes.
And just to clear things up, because USA Today and the Clarion Ledger both mention this, some myths still float around about Bob Marley.
Right.
But 420 has absolutely nothing to do with his birthday or the day he died. His birthday's in February, he passed in May. Just no connection there.
Good to clarify. So, okay. We've got Easter, deeply rooted in religion. We've got 420, born from this counterculture moment. And today, 2025, they land on the same date.
We know what happened in 2003, 2014.
Right. But what's especially interesting this year, and NBC News really highlights this, is how people are actually acknowledging this overlap, sometimes in pretty unique ways.
Yeah, some really inventive stuff is happening. Like in L.A., there's a cannabis tour company doing an Easter nug hunt.
A nug hunt instead of an egg hunt.
Exactly. A playful twist, you know? And in New York, apparently there's a brand offering kosher-style THC gummies.
Kosher.
Yeah, designed for Passover dietary rules because, believe it or not, Passover also overlaps this weekend. It's quite the convergence.
Wow, okay. And I saw something about a Blaze and Praise drag brunch in Portland.
Yeah, that's right. Though no actual cannabis use allowed on site there, the organizer called it a cheeky way to bring these different vibes together.
Cheeky seems about right.
And then, of course, you have the bigger, more established 420 events, like the big festival in Denver.
Mile High 420 Fest, yeah.
And Sweetwater Brewing in Atlanta. They always do something. Though, interestingly, the big gathering on Hippie Hill in San Francisco canceled this year.
Oh, really? Wonder why.
Didn't say, but it's a notable absence. But tying back to the Waldos, Lagunitas Brewing out in Petaluma, California, they release their Waldo's Special Ale every year on 420. And they actually partner with the original Waldos to do it.
That's pretty cool, bringing it full circle.
It is.
And we should probably mention, too, that 420 isn't just about celebrating. It's also become a pretty big day for the cannabis industry itself, right? Like promotions, vendor events.
Oh, absolutely. It's a major date on the industry calendar now, which kind of leads us nicely into the current legal picture for marijuana in the U.S. as of, well, now, April 2025.
Right. It's patchy, isn't it? Looking at the NBC News piece, what is it? 24 states have legalized recreational use now.
24 for rec, yeah. And then another 14 allow it just for medical purposes.
Yep.
So a majority of states have some form of legal cannabis.
But it's not like a steady march forward everywhere. There were those setbacks last November, wasn't it? Voters in Florida, North Dakota, South Dakota, they turned down recreational measures.
That's right. And there's also this whole other wrinkle with the hemp-derived products.
The Delta-8 stuff and things like that.
Exactly. Those intoxicating cannabinoids derived from hemp. They became really widespread because of, well, what many saw as a loophole in the federal farm bill.
So they were legal even in states where regular marijuana wasn't.
Pretty much. But now, a bunch of states are starting to crack down, putting stricter rules on those products, too. It just shows how complex the regulation is, state by state.
And federally, of course, it's still illegal. Schedule 1.
Still illegal, yeah. Though NBC mentioned some differing signals, maybe. President Trump had apparently hinted before at possibly supporting reclassification. While more recently, the Biden White House put out a statement expressing concerns about decriminalization efforts in D.C.
So still a bit of a mixed bag at the federal level.
But there is that bipartisan bill in the Senate, right? Trying to let states just set their own policies?
Yes, that's been reintroduced. It aims to basically respect state laws and also tackle some of the banking and financial hurdles the industry faces because of the federal status. So, maybe some movement there eventually.
Okay, and zooming in on Mississippi, based on the Clarion Ledger article, what's the situation there specifically?
Right, Mississippi's interesting. Recreational marijuana. Still illegal.
Okay.
But medical marijuana is permitted there.
Got it. And those low THC intoxicating hemp products we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Legal for sale.
Yeah.
And apparently with no age restrictions, which is notable.
Wow. No age rules. That really highlights the kind of inconsistencies across the country.
It absolutely does. A real patchwork of laws.
So, wrapping this up, it really is kind of fascinating, this 2025 overlap. Easter Sunday and 420. One ancient, religious, about resurrection. The other, much newer, born from, high school kids looking for a hidden stash.
Yeah, seemingly worlds apart, right?
Yeah.
Yet here they are, sharing the same square on the calendar.
It just makes you think, doesn't it, about how these, cultural moments or traditions that seem totally unrelated can sometimes just align.
Creating these unique points in time.
Yeah, and it kind of reflects how society changes, how values evolve, how traditions get reinterpreted or just bump up against each other in unexpected ways. Makes you wonder, what other strange overlaps are out there? What other stories are hidden in these calendar quirks?
That's a good thought to end on. Definitely something to ponder.